Welcome back to the truth with Najeh Wilkins, man. Appreciate everybody tuning in, man. Y'all know what time it is, man. It's time for the college football show. College football show. Yes, sir, man. So look, we back. We healthy, feeling a little bit better, man. So we're gonna get into it, man. A lot to talk about today, man. As y'all can see in the thumbnail, we're gonna be talking about the trench warfare, man, because that's where it go down. And when we look at college football, we look at any brand of football, it goes down in the trenches, man. So that's what we're gonna be talking about today, man. And we're gonna specify really the SEC. We're gonna get into obviously the lawsuit, everything going on with Brendan Sorsby, and so much more on the pod today, man. So let's go ahead and get started with the trench warfare, man. And we're gonna start on the defensive side of the ball. Excuse me. And today we're talking Elijah Griffin. All right. Outstanding guy as my guy, Jeremy from On 3. Dolls HQ does an outstanding job of what he does. Development. It's exactly what we want to see. And one thing I do love about Kirby is he plays his guys early. You look at the defensive line, you look at some of the players that played, right? Even Zayden Walker got a little bit of PT last year, right? You look at obviously the emergence of a Quintavious Johnson who got better as the season wore on, right? But Elijah especially got a lot of playing time, and I expect for him to have a major impact and probably even start this year for the Georgia Bulldogs, right? Now, what's going to be key for Georgia? The key for them is they got to get more disruptive plays, right? They got to get more TFLs, more sacks in the backfield. And it starts with the development of their defensive line, right? Their nose tackles, some of those guys. So it's going to be important for guys like Elijah Griffin, like a Zayden Walker, like some of the pieces they have coming back to be able to establish themselves as go-to players in this Georgia scheme. And I'm looking at guys like Jordan Hall, starting 8 games in 2025, a name that people don't talk about enough, right? I'm looking at him. I'm looking at Xavier McLeod as another name to know for the Georgia defense, right? We need defensive ends like Gabe Harris to step up and take the next step forward, right? And we need a more disruptive team. Now, for Georgia, you do lose obviously some of your key pieces, but you're going to be bringing back a Quintavious Johnson, as we mentioned before. You're going to be bringing back a Raylan Wilson at the inside linebacker position. But you need more disruption, is what is key for Georgia, right? Where we see some of these young thoroughbreds step up. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be key for the Bulldogs moving forward. And you need to see the development. They've been good at this. They've gotten guys into the league. They've played at a high level. You need to see more of it and more of that with this Georgia team in 2026. So that is that obviously part of it. Defense, more TFLs, more havoc rate, more disruption. And I'm looking at guys like Elijah Griffin, Quintavious Johnson, Jordan Hall, see what you guys can do to step up. Obviously, it's going to be a rotation. It ain't going to just be them. You're going to have other guys that going to step up into the fold. But I want to see who merges for this Georgia defensive line to help them take that next step forward. Offensively speaking, they got some dogs. You look about Ernest Green, right? He's a player that plays at a high level, right? Here it is right here via Dogs 247. Ernest Green right here. You know what I'm saying? He's a 3-time returning starter. Exactly what you want to see out of your offensive line, right? Drew Bobo is going to return for another season, right? Exactly what you want to see, right? And then think about it last year, the emergence of true freshman Dontrell Glover, who's now going to probably be a staple offensive lineman for you for years to come, right? And you still got a big time Warren Gaston, and you got what you recruited in the 2026 cycle coming in as well. So I feel like for years to come, Georgia should be pretty good. They're a little top heavy, but now it's about building the depth. Now, why do I mention offensive line? Because you needed to take the next step forward. The run game has not been what we have come to know for Georgia, right? When we think about the Nick Chubb and we think about obviously Sony Michelle and we think about the Todd Gurleys of the world, when we think about RB1s, like usually you think Bama, you go Georgia, right? Now, we've had guys like James Cook get into the league and Kendall Milton and things like that. They've made it off to the NFL, right? But now we need to see with all this production, you got Nate Frazier another year. You got guys like Dwight Phillips in the ranks ready to come in, right? You recruited Jay Lamar to come in and be a young thoroughbred to help you out. You got what you need, but we're not seeing enough YPC, yards per carry. We're not seeing enough of those explosives. Now, credit Gunnar Stockton. I told y'all he was the best Georgia quarterback in quite some time. And he did a lot with a little bit. Injuries throughout the tight end room, injuries throughout the wide receiver room. And he did more with less last year with a pretty much, I don't want to say incompetent, but not up to the standard of Georgia run game, right? So we need to see more of that. We need to see guys being pushed around. We need to see bigger gaps. And we need to see guys like Nate Frazier, whoever's running the ball for them, to explode through them and hit on those big plays. When Georgia's rolling, they're running for 40, 50 plus yards. But it starts with the trenches. You bring back a lot of these starters, guys that played last year for you. So it should be a pretty good group, and you should be able to take that step forward and improve that area that you kind of struggle with a little bit, and especially reared its head in some of these big games you played in, obviously CFP, what I'm saying, and things like that. But for Georgia, some feel like its last season was a failure. You won 12 games, though. You know what I'm saying? And you won another SEC championship. But now can we get deeper into the postseason? Credit to Kirby Smart. He knows what the hell he's doing. But now we need to focus on those small areas for us to get better. You know what I'm saying? I think that's going to be crucial for Georgia moving forward, man. So that is my trench work. That is what I think Georgia needs in order to kind of take that next step, that next evolution of this team. And what they do is they recruit the hell out of this state. They really do, man. We can talk about other players, man, but today I wanted to focus in on the trenches. And I want to see who's going to emerge and who's going to be some of those guys for them moving forward. And spring practice is here. So we get a little small glimpse to kind of see what's going on, man. And obviously I covered Georgia Tech, here pretty fully, but you still got to know what's going on down 316 as well, because they play each other every year, the annual rivalry, clean old-fashioned hate. You know what I'm saying? So you got to know what's going on with that. You got to know what's going on with your rival. That's my thoughts, man. All right. Now we're going to talk about Shane Beamer. Yes, sir. We're talking about Shane Beamer today. And I'm not going to lie. He issued this statement, obviously, guys, months ago. Okay. And it came essentially, when we was in the CFP, it was like, should Miami get in? Should it be Notre Dame? Like, who should it be, right? And it was a tough season for South Carolina, right? Really disappointing season. After the year that you had to finish, you win 9 games, and then you kind of, fell in your head. Now, he made the necessary changes. New offensive line coach, new offensive coordinator. Mike Shula is no longer there. So he made those necessary steps, and he got back the core of that team. You got Nick Harbor back another year. You convinced LaNorris Sellers to come back another year. You got Dylan Stewart back another year, right? But my concern remains the same. Razul Faison was supposed to be that guy at the running back for you. You need more production out of your running game in 2026. It ain't going to cut it. You need more production from that position. And then you need more production from these wide receivers. I know they hit the portal, you know what I'm saying, did the thing there, but you need more production from this team if you're going to take that step forward, right? And when I say that, is it the young guys? Is it some of these veterans? And we're going to pull up the portal right now to see some of the pieces they were able to get. All right, so here we go, guys. Here is the portal. Here is what they acquired, right? Obviously, Aaron Nolan transferred out. We know, obviously, now he's onto greener pastures there. But let's look specifically at wide receiver. Then we'll go to running back, right? Now, for you coming in, you bought a Nitro Tuggle, right? Nitro Tuggle is obviously a really good player. He's had his fair share of struggles, formerly at UGA. We won't talk about that part, but you expect him to be a dynamic player for you coming in, right? 3-star in the portal. Okay, let's see what happens. He should be kind of a similar, I don't want to say the same build of a Nick Harbor because he's an athletic freak, but he should be a guy that can make some noise for you, right? All right, so he's a name to know, okay? Jaden Gibson from Oklahoma, right? Can he be a difference maker for you in this offense? DJ Black, right? You also brought in Charlie Mulale, and then Emerson Littlejohn transferred out. Obviously, looks like he's playing for, I'm assuming that's an NFL team. My concern, though, guys, and the reason why I say it doesn't feel like this was enough done to bring in guys, right? You look at Miami, they brought in Cooper Barkey, right? They went and got Vandrius Jacobs from South Carolina, right? They went and did splash moves. I feel like they didn't do enough to help, right? Some young guys is really good. I know they brought in some dynamic playmakers, but you're going to need the receivers to take a step forward. If you want to see LaNorris Sellers take that next step in his career, yes, new OC, cool. But you're going to need receivers and stuff to give him the ball. And you're going to need some semblance of a running game. Now, they attacked that in the portal, brought in Christian Clark from Texas. I think a very underrated pickup for them. They also brought in Sam Dix from Ohio State, was behind a very crowded Running back room there, we know Bo Jackson, true freshman, got that nod, and Jabri Coleman. Hopefully that could be enough to help get this running game on track. But the key, and most South Carolina fans know this, the offensive line was not what it was supposed to be. And this is why they struggled a good bit last year. Offensive line was not nearly good enough. But you went and got guys. I like what they did with the offensive line. You got guys like Jacarius Peak. He was really good at NC State. You look at Hollywood Smothers. You look at CJ Bailey. They was able to do a lot of good things in that offense. So that was a really good pickup, in my opinion. You went and brought in Emmanuel Poku from obviously East Carolina. That was a pretty good pickup as well. Kason Henry looks like he transferred out from South Carolina. Let's see who else they were able to bring in. Looks like they brought in Seth Smith, another offensive tackle. Carter Miller on the offensive line from UCF. They had an up and down season. Let's see. Dane Arnett. Looks like they were able to bring in, and then Armando Nieves as well. But I will say the two pickups, Emmanuel Poku and Jacarius Peak, should help do wonders. And a new offensive line coach should help them out a lot. All right. I'm still concerned about the wide receiver room. I don't feel like they did enough to help out LaNorris Sellers. We'll see how the young freshman look. But this is a big year for Shane Beamer, and I'll go back to it. He wants to guarantee and make sure to get into a CFP. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing. But now you're going to have to make sure you put everything in place to do so. New OC for LaNorris Sellers, a new offensive line, new weapons in the backfield now. You know what I'm saying? And then a wide receiver room that's still trying to figure it out a little bit. You did get Nigel Tuggle, which should help a little bit, but you in a tough spot. This is a big year for SC. Shane Beamer ain't on the hot seat, but you go and have another 4-win season and you go struggle again, it's going to be on you. And you can bet your hat. If you won't make no progress, it ain't going to change. Now, I don't think they're in a situation they got to make a CFP, but I think you're going to have to win about 8 to 9 games. You have to. When you have LaNorris Sellers and a Dylan Stewart and a Nick Hart, you have to win 8 to 9 games. You ain't even got to be an SEC champion. Get in there, though. Bama got in there, right? Oklahoma got in there. You know what I'm saying? Tennessee a few years ago, they got in there. You should be able to find a spot in the SEC. And I know it won't be easy because you got 9 games now on the slate. So that doesn't make it any easy, but you're going to have to handle business and win some of these games against some of your opponents. So a big year for SC. I know obviously Shane Beamer wants to be in that conversation, but it starts with winning in the trenches up front. I feel like the offensive line got better, but now you're going to need the weapons in order to do so. So that's where I'll leave it, man. We will see what happens, though, with Shane Beamer and obviously South Carolina. All right. Now, let's talk about a team I cover, and I'm going to start covering them every single time I come up on the show today or on the show on Wednesdays, and that is the Tennessee Volunteers, Rocky Top. Yes, sir. Let's talk about Rocky Top just a little bit here, man. A team, and I want to mention, you know what I'm saying, for them, obviously, team that's in the Sweet 16 in college basketball, so shout out to them for that. I think a very interesting year, right? You bring in, you know what I'm saying, Jim Knowles, a guy coming over from Penn State, did his thing, you know what I'm saying, and you feel like you made the necessary changes, right? You brought in Chaz Coleman, you know, obviously an edge rusher to help you out. You know what I'm saying? You know you're going to lose primetime edge rusher. And then I keep hearing about this name, is that, as it says here, mentioning Chaz. Chaz is everything as advertised. Tells you all you need to know, right? And I keep hearing this name that's buzzing, and Jaden Parlati. A lot of people have been mentioning for Tennessee as a name, obviously, you know, at the linebacker role. And then if you Tennessee, you feel good because you brought back your stud linebacker who was considering entering into the transfer portal, right? So you bring him back for another season, you know what I'm saying? And he's going to come in and obviously help you out, you know what I'm saying, and be the difference maker for you moving forward, right? And Arian Carter. He could have easily left, went to the pros, decided to do what he do. No, he decided to stay with you. You know what I'm saying? So for Tennessee, the key is going to be defense. Now, Davin Hobbs, another year, unfortunately, he's not going to be playing in the spring. So obviously that's a big, you know what I'm saying, obviously L for them. But we know Tennessee, you know, has all the pieces they need in order to be successful, right? And then, you know, we did the big David Sanders. We responded to that. That was obviously massive. Some didn't like the form, but he's giving you the nastiness of what you want from your offensive line, right? When you look at the offensive line from top to bottom, you want your guys to be nasty and to finish plays, right? And that's what David Sanders gives you. And it's a lot of talent on this team, right? It's a lot of players that are trying to make a mark for the team. So I'm curious to see how Chaz Coleman's going to look. Can his defense create more pressure? Can the back end be better? Right? What a Tyler Redmond in there, right? No Colton Hood no more. 1 year, he left, right? Who's going to be your back end with your defense that you made changes there as well, right? Can the linebackers be better as well? Can your team not give up so many points, right? So that's the key there. Also, the key for Tennessee, you got to get quarterback right, right? You got to find a way to get the quarterback position right. It's a big time QB battle going on, and between Faison and Brandon, you obviously look at um, George McIntyre and look at Ryan Staub. Now, if again, if I'm Tennessee, right, and this is Ryan Staub, I really want one of the young guys to win. No disrespect to Staub. Staub has kind of shown you what he is and what he's going to be, right? But if you Tennessee, we got to get the quarterback position correct. Somehow, some way, we got to get this right. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what it is we have to do. We have to get the QB position correct. You know what I'm saying? And if we don't, we're going to have a problem. You know what I'm saying? So how do we get the quarterback position correct? You know what I'm saying? That is the biggest thing. That is the biggest area of concern if I'm a Tennessee fan. You know what I'm saying? Now, look, Joey Aguilar came in and he did his thing, right? He was really good for you. You know what I'm saying? He did what he was supposed to do, right? But you desperately need your quarterback to help elevate the team, right? And I feel like Joey did the best he could. 24 touchdowns. He did have, I think, double-digit interceptions, but he did all he could. He had a really good running game last year, too. Remember, Deshaun Bishop, him and Star Thomas. Who's going to be RB2? Because Peyton Lewis left and went to Virginia, right? Is it one of these young thoroughbreds? Is it Justin Baker? Who's going to be the next guy at the running back spot, right? I feel like offensive line-wise, they're going to figure it out, right? But can this team, if the defense is struggling, can they carry, right? And I feel like Ryan Staub has had his struggles. I'd rather be a young thoroughbred because I know Faison Brandon, I at least got 3 years. George McIntyre, I at least got the next 2.5 years with him, right? If it's Staub, 1 year rental again, then we right back in the situation. You know what I'm saying? Let him be the veteran backup. Let one of these young guys emerge, the George McIntyre, or Faison Brandon, and that's what I want. So the key for them, hitting on the quarterback position and then fixing the defense. Gave up way too much YPC on the ground, yards per carry. Go back and roll the tape against, obviously, Vanderbilt. They could not get stops. And with how much talent that defense has, that should not be a thing. That should not be a thing at all. You should be able to get stops consistently against them. And they couldn't do it. They cannot do it. So that is the key with Tennessee. Obviously, moving forward. Can't wait to see what this QB battle is going to look like for them. Obviously, great reporters and things like that. But I'm excited to see with the new overhaul, can they finally take a step forward? Can they make a difference? Can they do what they're supposed to do in order to take that step forward? It's going to be vital, obviously, for Tennessee moving forward. All right. So I can't wait to see it, man. But let's go to some NIL news as well. Let's go ahead and talk about obviously, Cincinnati is suing their former quarterback. And this is what we see with some of these NILs. And obviously, here it is right here. This is reported way back when, y'all. But again, just want to touch on it obviously a little bit. About a month ago, haven't heard too much news on it, but just wanted to talk about it a little bit on the show. Brendan Sorsby sued Sorsby over $1 million exit fee after Texas Tech transfer. Cincinnati sued former quarterback Brendan Sorsby in federal court Wednesday, alleging he breached the NIL contract with the Bearcats when he refused to pay $1 million exit fee after he transferred to Texas Tech. The lawsuit, filed in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Ohio, seeks $1 million in liquidated damages when the school says Sorsby was contractually obligated to pay within 30 days of transferring. In the complaint, Cincinnati attorney said the quarterback's representatives advised that Sorsby refuses to pay the university anything. Sorsby reportedly signed an NIL agreement with the Red Raiders that would pay him $4 million and $6 million between $4 million and $6 million this season. In his lucrative NIL agreement with Cincinnati Athletics, Brendan Sorsby committed to stay and play for 2 seasons as a proud Bearcat representative. The university said in a statement Wednesday. He also agreed that if he left the university before that time, he would pay the university a specific amount for the substantial harm that his breach will cause. Cincinnati Athletics intends to enforce the contractual commitment. As stewards of the university's resources, the athletic department has a duty to do so. We thank Brendan for his time in Cincinnati and wish him success in the future. The lawsuit said that Sorsby signed an 18-month NIL contract with Bearcats that covered the 2025 and 2026 seasons. It was set to expire December 15th, 2026. The university claimed Sorsby notified the football team on December 1st that he was done playing for the Bearcats and wouldn't compete in their postseason game against Navy in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl on January 2nd. Sorsby entered the transfer portal January 2nd and almost immediately signed an NIL deal with the Red Raiders. The lawsuit claims Sorsby violated the terms of his NIL deal with Cincinnati when his image appeared on a large digital billboard in New York Times Square announcing his commitment to Texas Tech. Sorsby, a senior from Denton, Texas, was one of the top-rated quarterbacks in the transfer portal. Now, in breaking down the lawsuit and why it's important is I think you're going to probably see more of this because we've seen a player, to bring up an example, Damon Williams from Washington, try to enter the transfer portal and try to go to another school when he was contractually obligated, and he ended up having to go back. And probably going to have to spend his coaches, his teammates. Obviously, they're trying to move on from that situation. So I think players are entering a situation where it doesn't matter if you sign a 2-year deal, whatever it is, you better read the fine print that's in that contract because these teams are enforcing it. These teams are not playing around. These teams are not laugh, gaga. You better uphold with whatever you committed to. It's cool. If you want to leave, make sure there's a clause in there where you can hit the exit fee, but they're going to probably hit you with a lump sum because think about it. If you're a top tier player, if you did have, well, he did only 5 interceptions all season, 27 touchdowns, that team was going to want to keep you, right? So you put them almost up in flux or you put them at a disadvantage when you leave, which I understand on the player's part. Okay, go and pursue greener pastures, go and pursue a better situation for myself. Cool. But at the same time, you're screwing them because they're expecting you to come back after you sign a 2-year deal. So it's almost like, that's to say, you probably have to move to a situation. I know college athletics is a mess right now, where there's a union, where there's a situation where the players have to uphold whatever they sign, right? Because we see in NFL, this doesn't happen, right? It could be another team that wants that player, but he has to oblige to that 4-year contract or 5-year contract or whatever he signs. You can't just go, oh, I'm gonna just leave. You can ask for a trade, but you can't just go up and leave. So I think that's going to be crucial moving forward because it's like these players, they'll get poached. They get these deals. Okay, I'm making $2 million with Cincinnati. Oh, well, Texas Tech's offering me $6 million. Whoa, I'm gonna go here. Or LSU's offering me $8 million. I'm gonna go here, and that's not fair to the program, the previous institution he was at, and the player is not being fair to the university because he's not upholding with what he said. Not cool. You want to leave, you want to pursue greener pastures, but pay us what you said you was going to pay. Because that contract said December 15th, 2026. That's not until December. So they was expecting you for a whole nother year, you know what I'm saying, before you could even do so and leave. So I think you're going to see situations more where universities are going to start putting exit fees in there. Universities are going to start saying if you do leave or breach the contract, this is what it is. And you got to uphold to it. And the players are going to put themselves at a disadvantage because if that's what you said you was going to do and you contractually sign it, you're going to have to start upholding that. So definitely, I would say a good telltale story. Definitely something that players need to be more accountable for and think about. And definitely a situation, excuse me, where they need to think more so of that. It's cool. Like I said, pursue your opportunities, pursue your money. I get it. You probably won't always have access to that, depending on how your career goes. But uphold with whatever you contractually signed. And I think there needs to be more regulation on that. That's where I stand with it. You know what I'm saying? It needs to be more regulation because you can't just go freely-nilly do whatever you want. Like, that's not how that works. You have to be in a situation where you can do that. Now, let's talk and continue to talk about that with going to the portal. Do you guys believe there should be a one-time transfer portal? I'm going to throw you guys a question and actually do a new poll and type, should there be a one-time transfer portal? And you guys vote down below whenever this video goes up or whenever you guys get a chance to see it. Let's see if you guys can see it. I don't see anything. Okay, you have to be got it. They're not going to show the poll. That sucks. But anyway, when you guys see this video, put yes or no in the comment section, okay? Do you guys believe it should be a one-time transfer portal, right? Now, I would say, I think the first time you transfer, cool. No penalty, nothing. You Gucci. I think that second transfer, there should be a penalty. You know what I'm saying? I think the second time a recruit transfers, I think he should have to either pay an entry fee or they have to sit out. They have to look at me crazy. Now, that's what you mean an entry fee. Now, if you're coming from Power Four, right, whatever money you made, you got to pay an entry fee of $100,000, right? That's my entry fee. Now I'm gonna look like, nah, where players gonna get that money? These players are signing these lucrative contracts, NIL deals. 100K shouldn't be too bad, right? Now, if you coming from, let's say, a smaller time school, you know what I'm saying? If you coming from a group of 5 or D2, make the entry fee 10,000, 10,000 to 25,000. And the reason I say put an entry fee is because then I know some fans are gonna be like, nah, you're treating it almost like a business. It is a business though. And it's money you have to pay. But if you put an entry fee in there along with, oh yeah, you can't transfer more than this amount of times or whatever it is, it makes the player hesitant. It makes the player think twice on it. Because now, oh, just to do this transfer, I also got to pay this entry fee, and they can get the other school, the new school they're going to waive it or get them to pay for it, whatever it is. But it makes them think twice because, oh, I got to pay you money and pay this entry fee on top of that. It makes it think twice, right? So I think the first transfer, cool, no problem. The second one, you need to have more stipulation, right? They need to pay an entry fee and you have to sit out, period. You know what I'm saying? You guys send out an extended period of time. You can either miss the spring, you know what I'm saying? You can miss fall camp, whatever it is. Something needs to be missed because we have way too many transfers, 3, 4 times, different times. I think past the first one, second one will do, you need to be penalized. You know what I'm saying? To a certain degree, right? Because the first time, okay, cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the first school didn't work out, but it's repeated. It's just not good for the game. It's not good for the game. I'm all for kids making their pay, making their money. I do think there should be a transfer portal limit. The first time, smooth. Second time, paying a penalty, entry fee, and you got to sit out a period of time, right? That might be you missed the first 3, 4 games of the season. You know what I'm saying? To throw it out there. Whatever it is, make the player in the program think twice about it. You know what I'm saying? It just my take. It's a little brutal, but at the same time, we can't have transfers every single year and trying to just search for money. It just looks crazy. So to me, there needs to definitely be obviously a fix on that. All right. Now, before obviously we wrap up the show, again, I'll talk about recruiting tomorrow, man. But Sean Green had an exceptional vertical he did, and then Landon G's the creme de la creme, man, one of the top recruits. Had another stellar performance at UA camp a few weeks ago. But I want to talk about this player right here, and this will be a fun topic to end the show. All right. Let's see if we can find it. I think it was CFB Kings. Bear with me, y'all. No, hold on. Here it is. Yep. 1-3 did it. I want to do that one. All right. Let me share this tab. Okay. So to end the show, y'all, we had big news from TJ Finley. Remember, he got granted another transfer. Another transfer. He's not even going to play no more. Breaking news today, Georgia State QB TJ Finley is declaring for the NFL draft instead of enrolling at Incarnate Word. Incarnate Word was going to be his likely last stop. He's been everywhere, y'all. Georgia State, anywhere you can think of, TJ Finley over the course of his career, he's been to. I mean, so many stops, just to name a few. So you guys know, and like I said, I don't want to hate on nobody, but at a certain point, man, enough is enough. I get it. 6'7", 230. Look, I get it. But he's been in the league so long. Look, started his career at LSU, Auburn for a couple of years, Texas State, Western Kentucky, and then Georgia State pretty much to end his career. And look, I'm glad he's making this move to the NFL. Go out there and go see at least what you can do. Right? Go out there and see what you can do. You know what I'm saying? See what you can obviously become. You know what I'm saying? And bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's time. This is to me the best time to do it. And someone be like, well, nah, she got bad advice. No, I think you got great advice. This is a very weak class. There's no Dante Moore. There's no Sam Leavitt. There's no Arch Manning. There's no Darian Mensah. This is not a strong QB class. So if I'm TJ Finley, I'm looking, and at least I can go somewhere I can show my great talent, show what I can do, and at least I can go somewhere and potentially be a backup. You know what I'm saying? Or potentially show what I can do. Look, there's a whole bunch of jobs out there. Miami, like obviously Malik Willis is in that conversation. They're gonna be searching for a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? This is not a great draft for quarterbacks. So if I'm TJ Finley outside of Ty Simpson, outside of Fernando Mendoza, it's pretty wide open. So why would I not go bet on myself? So I love the move. Like, yes, give somebody else, give a college kid a spot like that. Him going to the NFL draft, that opens up a spot for Incarnate Ward, that opens up spots elsewhere. Like, and I think the NCAA, they like after about 5 years, that's it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Get a job, a job. You know what I'm saying? At a certain point, let it go. Do something different. You did all them years in college. You should have 3 and 4 different degrees at that point because everything's being paid for. So I love the move. Give kids the opportunity. He can go pursue his dreams in the NFL, which is where most of these kids want to end up anyway. And now somebody else can get a roster spot. And again, we wish him well. Like stops at LSU, Auburn, Texas State, been all over the place. Now you get to go pursue your dream and see what happens. You never know. You know what I'm saying? You never know what experience you can get. You never know what opportunity you'll be able to get. You never know where your career could lead you. But he's been in college so damn long. It's time. It's time. So I love that he's making this move and deciding to go pursue his dreams. And hopefully everything for him works out. Crazy story to say the least, man. But we hope it works out for TJ Finley and he can finally find a team that he can go play with. And there's plenty of big, like I said, backup jobs. And for a QB class that's pretty weak, why not? It makes a lot of sense to me. I think it's a great move. If it doesn't work out, then you pursue a different career field. So many career fields that you can do that can be lucrative for you. You can go into coaching if you want. You know what I'm saying? You can do the sports business perspective of it. There's a lot of different career fields, if we're being humbly honest. So that's my thoughts, man. That's the show, man. The truth for Najeh Wilkins, man. Like we covering college football, any topics, any big headlines that we see, we talk about it on the show, man. And obviously we're trying to grow this thing. I know I got to be more consistent. I appreciate you guys' love and support. As always, like, comment, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, hype it up for me, please. Trying to grow this thing, trying to grow my audience, man. Shout out to y'all. I'm at 2,500 subscribers now. Trying to make this into a real thing, man, and a real audience, man. So whatever topics y'all want to see, let me know. I'm going to try to cover more Tennessee topics. I know I got a big Tennessee fan base and audience. I'm going to try to cover more Georgia Tech. Not too much to say today because they're on spring break. You know what I'm saying? So there's not too much to really say at the moment. But definitely trying to build this thing, man. So whatever I can do, man, y'all follow me on all platforms at Najeh Wilk, NAJHWILK on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, X, anything you can think of. I will see you guys in the next one. And thanks for always loving and supporting. Till next time. Peace.